Okay, Xiaomi, you have to calm down. First, you launched a phone with a massive 1-inch sensor that can take incredible low-light photos. And then now you're trying to sell us a phone with a 200 megapixel camera? Huh? Well, yes, that's exactly what they're trying to sell us. It is called the Xiaomi 12T Pro. And honestly, I'm still a little bit stunned. Wait, before we continue with the video, I have an important announcement to make. Search Ninja is hiring! We are looking for driven, like-minded individuals to join our growing team. But wait, you might be wondering, why would I want to work here? Well, let me show you. You get to work here with some of the most incredible creatives.
Dude, Honda City sebiji macam BMW 3 You comparing that cheap car to the ultimate driving machine? Wake up!
You get access to incredible studios like this and all of this cool equipment.
I'm trying to work here. Can you get out of here? What the?
You also get free parking.
Wait, get out of the way!
So, are you interested? Hit the link below to see what positions we have available. So this phone landed on my desk yesterday, and at first I was like, it's a T phone, right? It's gonna be well spec'd, it's gonna be affordable. But then I took a look at the spec sheet and I was like, oh my god, this has a 200 megapixel camera? From what I can tell, that is definitely the headline feature here. This brand new phone from Xiaomi features a 200 megapixel Samsung HP1 sensor that's mated to a wide-angle lens with an f1.69 aperture. It has a sensor size of 1/1.22 inches, which is okay for a smartphone, but on top of that, it also has OIS for stabilization and a bunch of other useful features. Alongside it is an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 2 megapixel macro shooter. And I mean, with a camera like that, I have to take it out, right? I have to go and shoot some photos. Like, it doesn't make sense to shoot this video here, or at least not all of it. So yeah, we have to go now. Let's go. So where we are now is we are like around this area. This is like sort of like to the side of our office. We're going to grab a couple of quick shots, try and hit a couple of these modes and just see what the photos look like really quick. Obviously, when I look at the photos on this phone screen, it's going to look different from when you look at it on your screen. So I'm going to put the photos up as I take them as well, so you can have a look. So you let me know what you think of the 200 megapixel camera. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is obviously go test the 200 megapixel camera. There's this like epic tree here that I think is going to have a lot of detail for us. So let's try. Let's see what this 200 megapixel can do. Okay, so if you want to shoot 200 megapixel, you have to click more and then Ultra HD and then turn on 200 MP. Boom! Make sure the environment is well lit. It's well lit, baby. I'm going to take a photo. Okay, so that's the photo we just took, and if you look at that, you can sort of like double tap in to see. So here it goes, double tap again to switch to 200 MP. Boom! And then it's sort of, because obviously they're not gonna keep the preview file at 200 megapixels, right? So yeah, look at that. You can zoom all the way in there. You can still see plenty of details. Like there's a lot of leaf action going on here. But one thing that I am noticing is that it's struggling a bit in the highlights. Yeah, I mean, even if you're not in 200 megapixel mode, it looks a lot like, you know, a Xiaomi camera. The photos look vibrant, very saturated. So it's whether you like that kind of look or not. I know the guy behind the camera doesn't, but I mean, the nice thing is that you can instantly post this on social media. Overall shooting experience, I mean, it feels a lot like a Xiaomi smartphone. The way that it takes the photo, the way that it processes the photo, it does feel very similar. So I feel like that 200 megapixel sensor, did it make a massive difference? Well, yes, in the sense that detail compared to the regular sensor is obviously greatly improved, but it still suffers from highlight control, which I think like that's something that is really difficult for it to fix. And when you have all that extra detail, the little bright spots, they become a lot more obvious. Of course, the 200 megapixel camera is probably going to steal the headlines in Malaysia, even though it's not the first phone in the world with a 200 megapixel camera. But if you look under the hood, the phone actually has a pretty stacked spec sheet. For starters, it packs a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor at its heart, and it's mated to up to 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 internal storage. Needless to say, performance has been solid so far. Now obviously I haven't done a whole lot of intense gaming or tasks like that on this phone yet, but you know, being able to quickly snap and process those 200 megapixel photos is pretty impressive by itself. Up front, it also has a really interesting AMOLED display. It is a little higher resolution than Full HD, but it's not quite Quad HD because it packs a resolution of 2712 by 1220 pixels for a 6.67 inch display. This gives it a crisp 446 pixels per inch, and to cap it all off, you're also getting a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. And it's a nice screen too. It's sharp, punchy, and has really nice viewing angles. Though I have to say that the speakers do leave a little to be desired. They are a stereo pair, but I would have definitely liked to see a little more volume coming out of them.
On the face of it, the Volvo XC40 Recharge Twin is as simple as electric cars get. It's an XC40 with a big battery underneath and an electric motor.
There's a 5000 mAh battery keeping the lights on, and it supports 120 watt fast charging via a USB-C cable. Interestingly, even though the wattage is slightly lower, Xiaomi claims to match the OnePlus 10T's 0 to 100% charge time of 19 minutes, which by the way is absolutely game-changing to the way you charge any phone. But I think we all kind of expected that this phone would have a good spec sheet. What I didn't expect though was some of the little, subtle things that they've done with this smartphone. I'm not entirely sure if it's the frosted back or the new camera design, but this phone looks and feels way more premium than its predecessor to me. Yes, the materials don't feel super expensive, but the way they've put it together here feels better than it did on the Xiaomi 11T. You do also get Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and glass on the back, so it's not like they completely cheaped out with plastic or anything like that. The square camera design also reminds me of a Vivo design that I quite liked, which I think is definitely an improvement over the silly cassette style Redmi Note vibe of the 11T. But all of these little touches plus that slick vibration motor, it does make me a little bit worried about the price. You see, Xiaomi started making really nice flagship smartphones at a really good price point. So much so that whenever anyone asked about what the best bang for buck phone they should buy was, the answer was almost always Xiaomi. But they've come a long way since then, and their devices now look and feel like proper upmarket devices. With that though came much higher price tags, and now devices like the Xiaomi 12 don't feature a single model near the 2000 ringgit price tag. Because of that, they've had to launch the T series to act as this back-to-basics flagship for, broke people like me. And the formula was the same. Great internal specifications with often kind of dodgy build quality. With this though, the build is a little bit nicer than before, and when you couple that with what I think is a completely unnecessary 200 megapixel camera, well, that's usually a recipe for phones way north of 2000 ringgit. As I'm shooting this video, I don't know how much this smartphone will cost yet. I don't have the price yet. But if I do, or whenever you watch this video, if I already have the price, I will leave them in the comment section below so we can take the discussion from there. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. We're also on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, so you follow us there. But our home on the internet will always be at searchandshao.com. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.